Now, before you move on to building out the rest of your LinkedIn profile, I want to take you on a journey to actually searching for jobs, because you're going to want to search for different jobs that interest you before you build out the rest of your profile, because things like your about section, even your featured section, your skills section, these things are going to be heavily dependent upon, number one, your skills you have, and also what are employers looking for and how are they phrasing things in their job descriptions, because at the end of the day, you want to be found. You don't want to make up words. You don't want to use words that nobody's using in their job description. So you want to have knowledge of what's out there and kind of how things are being phrased. And also, what are the things you actually need to care about in job descriptions that you find. So let's go on a search. We're going to do a couple of searches here. We're going to do one for cybersecurity analyst, since that's what Jen here is. And we're also, or at least what she's aspiring to be, or open to working in those roles. And also, we'll do one for GRC, which I think is a good way for you to get your start in the industry. If you're looking for kind of those entry-level roles, you would likely have a good shot at. Another one would be like sales engineering, product manager, things like that, right? The non-traditional roles like SOC analyst, cybersecurity analyst, pen tester, that's what everyone else is applying for. So the more you're open to other roles that get you into a security company and allow you to grow your career from there, the better off you're going to be. And oftentimes you can get a job within a couple of weeks instead of waiting years to get your first job. So without further ado, let's go ahead and start searching. So you can do it a couple ways. You can go to search thing here and search for people and all that stuff, or you can just go to jobs here at the very top. So there's a little jobs icon here, and you can go to that. So let's go ahead and select that here. Now, based off what you've listed on your profile, it will pull in certain keywords, right? So for example, with Jen here, we've listed out cybersecurity analyst. So it gives some suggestions of what else you may search for, right? So it shows you that, hey, there's probably some listed like that, or hey, did you mean to search for cybersecurity engineer, etc. So based on your LinkedIn profile, where it is right now, you can come here to jobs, and LinkedIn will suggest different keywords that you may want to search by to find the role that you're looking for. So right here, we actually have a cybersecurity analyst job here. So I'm just going to go ahead and open a couple of these in a new tab, and we'll look through these without even having to do any searching actually. The other thing we can do is we can actually search here by title, skill, or company in the search box. I could basically use some what's called Boolean operators, if you're not familiar with those. So and, or. I could also put not to exclude if I wanted to. So for example, if I wanted to find cybersecurity analyst role at Google or Splunk or something, I could say cybersecurity analyst, and just put it in quotations and then the and Boolean operator and search by that. Now I also need to put a city, state, or a zip code, or depending on where you live in the world, it may have different features there for you to search by. I'm going to go ahead and just put California, just so it pulls up a lot of Google related things, because Google is headquartered in California. All right, so what it's going to pull up here is it's going to pull up anything with cybersecurity analyst and Google in it. So the reason why it's showing us things that are not Google is, number one, Google doesn't have any cybersecurity analyst job titles. They call it different stuff. But number two, because here you'll notice they mention Google in the job description. So that's why it's pulling this particular role up. And this is for a senior cybersecurity analyst. But that's how you can add a couple of things. You can also search by skill. So if I wanted to search, say, Python, and I want to say I've also got, I don't know, we'll just use Splunk again. So I want to find jobs. I don't care about the job title, because maybe I don't really know what I want to do yet. So I'm going to just use skills that I have. So let's say I've got Python and Splunk as skills, and I live in California, or I want to move to California, whatever. So I just want to find jobs that are listed that have both Python and Splunk as skills, or at least that are mentioned in the job descriptions, so I can look through those ones and see, what I may find out there. So we'll go ahead and search, and so you'll find a ton of them with these keywords, right? So software engineering, I imagine it's going to mention some of Splunk. Yep. So next gen of Splunk's end user, and of course this is a Splunk job. what I'm going to say real quick on not this role in particular, but just security companies in general, there are a lot of jobs in security companies, so security product or service companies like your Splunks, Trend Micro, etc. There's a lot of job openings on sales and marketing teams in those. The advantage of, if you're open to it, going for jobs like that is, number one, like rarely does anyone apply for them because they don't think about them, right? They think about cybersecurity analyst or whatever, or pen tester or whatever. The other thing is that these companies will actually train you, right? So if you go work at Splunk, Splunk's going to train you. If you're on a sales role, they're going to train you on Splunk. So then you're going to get free training on some of the most ridiculously expensive software in the world. And they're going to send you through basically whatever training you want usually. Plus they'll usually pay for you to get like some certs and things like that. You're going to get a paycheck at the same time, benefits, all that stuff. And then in a year or 6 months or whatever, when you want to go work at a place in like a SOC analyst or cybersecurity analyst role and use Splunk, and you want to apply for like an intermediate job, you can do so because you've got experience with Splunk, right? Because you've used it in a setting, and having Splunk on your resume or any of these big names, Palo Alto Networks, Cisco, whatever, these big names actually open doors on your resume, right? So I highly encourage everyone listening to this course to be open to getting those non-traditional cybersecurity jobs or related jobs in security product companies, because you're going to learn a ton of things there. Back to your search results here, Python and Splunk, it's going to pull up everything with that stuff in it. And if you were looking for jobs, if you didn't know certain job titles, you could look through and say, ooh, this one sounds good, this one sounds good, whatever. We could also do not, so if I want to find everything with Python and not Splunk or something, we can, do that to exclude anything that's mentioned Splunk, right? And a lot of things around Python there. All right, so back to our profile for the next couple of videos. We're going to go ahead and we're just going to use some of the keywords, Python, Splunk, etc. Now, real quick before we go, let's talk about what you actually need in these job roles. So we're going to go back to cybersecurity analyst, and we'll search for that. So let's just look at a couple of job roles. I just want to give you some perspective. And in fact, this video is running too long. We're going to stop here. In the next video, I'm going to go through a couple of job listings and just explain what I think are critical skills in these and things that are like, you don't really need that to get the job, or at least to interview for the job. So stay tuned. Next video, we'll go through a couple of these just so you know when you're looking at job descriptions, what's really important and what isn't for the vast majority of cases.